So the third tip I'd like to share with you in this video is about taskings. Alright, so as your team moved from the physical working space over to the home-based environment, uh, some of them could somewhat be in a state of disorientation because after all, we are talking about change on a very major level. If your team is displaying signs and symptoms that they are struggling with completing even the routine tasks that they've been doing over the years, and it seems like they've been even the simplest tasks, they are not being able to complete it on time or just struggling with doing it. That's a major red flag for you. And as the team lead, the moment you see that happening, it's really time to sit down and rethink through their taskings. So there are a few recommendations on how you can do it. Number one is, as the team lead, what you can possibly do is support your team members in chunking down. So let's say you have a routine task that is about this big. And what you want to do is work with your team members, to chunk it down into small bite-sized portions and allocate a very specific duration of time with them. Work with them. In fact, if they are able to declare to you how much time they would need to take to get that particular chunk done, that's even better. Because then they would be taking ownership of the task itself. Now, rule of thumb, keep the tasking simple, especially in the beginning. Keep the duration of the taskings short, meaning once the task chunkings has been decided, keep the reporting time back to you after the completion is done is short. My recommendation, if we are talking about the beginning part, half a day. So chunk it down to chunk your routine taskings down to half a day's size worth, taking into consideration now we are not in the office anymore. We are talking about a home life, a home and work integration thing. Meaning, take into consideration that your team member might have kids, might have family commitments to attend to in that span of time, and work together with your team member to see what could be a win, during that half a day period. Now, set the time with your team member, just like how we did the goal setting. Once you set it, that will be the reporting time. The moment your team member reports back to you with the success of that chunk, acknowledge that win, celebrate it with them. Now, I cannot emphasize enough on the celebration part. Especially now that we're in a remote environment, it becomes even more important. As we celebrate every single step of the success of the task done, what happens is that we gather more energy because we're in a slightly happier mood. We collect the energy in order for us to move on to the next chunk of the tasking. As they experience success with their taskings, as they normalize into the duration of the taskings, it will be time for you to move them up to the next level. So what it means is, once they get used to the small chunks, you can start increasing the complexity of the task with a longer duration to report back to you. And you can do this over the next few weeks. Again, after they normalize, increase the complexity of the task again, the duration of the task again. There are a few signs that you can look out for, all right, to tell you whether you are doing it right or not. The first sign you want to be looking out for is this. If you are, let's say the first 3 chunks of the task, they're coming to you and giving you the experience, that they are doing it with little or no or insignificant challenge to them, then it probably is a sign to you that the task itself it's not complex enough, and of course the duration is, well, there's no challenge to them, and therefore it is a sign for you to start moving up the complexity, lengthening the duration of the task itself. Flipping the coin over, if your team members are coming back to you and reporting to you that they are not able to hit the deadline, I mean, business goals aside, it's also a very big red flag to you. Number one, that particular team member is very overwhelmed, especially if it's a routine task that the person has been doing over the years. So It could be also that you have chunked it, okay, a little bit too big. The task is still a little bit too complex for them to experience the win. Now, having said this, let me assure you that it's got nothing to do with their competency. Especially if you know your team member, if your team member has been with you for some time, and you know that they have never had this kind of problems before, and suddenly they're displaying this the moment you activate your BCP or your business continuation plan. Okay, it's really because they're having their home life integration challenge. Okay, and therefore it's really time to pay more attention to them. No, I can't tell you how long it takes. Reason being, every team is unique. Every individual is unique, and when you put unique individuals into unique teams, I can't tell you. I've worked with teams, okay, that's taken as short as 1 to 2 days, okay, before I started scaling it up. I've also worked with teams that took as long as 2 to 3 weeks, before I start scaling up the complexity and the duration. I mean, end of the day, we are dealing with human beings, okay, and it's our job as the team leaders to ascertain when they are ready before we move them up to the next level. Okay, everybody, this concludes part 2 of the tips series, Leading Remote Teams Effectively. Now, if you're interested to know more about what goes on behind the thinking of the strategies, or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, into how to build effective teams, regardless of whether remotely or on the ground, now do consider signing up for one of my workshops, okay, on leading effective teams, and we'll see each other more then. See you. Goodbye.